Guys, it's John, and I wanted to go into tonight's games. A lot of action today. Not a crazy day either way. One of those days. A lot of days go that way where we'll just be slightly in the positive, slightly in the negative, just because of the different metrics. But I wanted to go into a few things. We don't have a lot of plays tomorrow, so I, I I'm going to try and find the best way to do this. I think using my laptop would be the best way. But I like I said for a long, long time, we've calculated every single play since the beginning. You know, me scrolling I know isn't going to, but if I go in slow motion, it'll take forever. But my point is, anyone that's obviously on here already knows exactly our plays. They're all covered ahead of time, and we've done a really good job as far as closing out our open sequences. And I think we're far enough in now, we're about 6 weeks in, that I can say that the numbers are bearing true. Again, this is typically what happens. This is what happened last year, and it's been a very long sample size now, thousands and thousands of plays. Maybe not since the inception of this here on Patreon, but thousands and thousands of plays in general that I've done. And again, we are well on the positive. So I'm going to go into that part in a second because I want to do something where I could send like charted recaps. And there's somebody, his name's Chris, I want to show in a second because he deserves so much credit for making things so much easier, and he's just a great guy and very nice to me. So no no reason for him to go out of his way to do these things. So I really appreciate it, and I'll show you guys what I mean in a minute as far as how he's been helping us out. But I wanted to go into today's games, tomorrow's games. Obviously, today was a little different because now we have our, I know even though I've gone into a million times, I prefer the metric plays. Although today the metric plays weren't too good to be honest, but overall they usually are. I know everybody is just waiting for the Super Bowl. They really want to know who's going to win. And as you know, from the beginning of the year, we don't go against our our instinct is something that I'm learning. Since last year, I think we have about 35 videos dedicated to the Niners and why they're going to win. So there's a lot going on, and of course we got thrown some curveballs. So it's going to be a tough one. Not the easiest pick in my opinion, but again, when I was so convinced, it's making me feel pretty good. So I want to go into today how we did. Uh, First, I'll just do what we always do: run through the recap. So we got a unit with the Pistons cover. Didn't play the win, just didn't see it coming. Thought a lot of times with the Pistons I will take the win, but I don't like chasing them. This time it would have worked out, but Chris again brought to my attention that we would have been way better this year if I just ran nothing but spreads, which I noticed last year I ran nothing but spreads and we were doing better, but we're still doing very well. And there we get our money lines. A couple have come through big. As you can see, the Chiefs came through nice, but the spreads have over the course of the year, and this has just been a few months. The spreads will reign supreme typically. Even though it's good to get plus odds, he has the stats to prove it. So anyway, I'll get into that in a second. So we're down 3 units because we missed 4 units with the Hawks cover. Like an idiot, just took them again, thinking it was a trap. We got the Thunder or the Pistons, so 3. Now this one's an interesting one. Technically, we're up 0.75 because the way this works is, if I'm doing the math right, and Chris always corrects me if I'm not, and typically I do it right, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tired today. But at 175, typically this is a 1.75 unit profit. Pretty simple. And maybe it's 3.5. I think it should be 3.5. I don't know. It's going to be close, though. Whether you got 175, 180. But since it's a leg 2, and we calculate these by the days. So, as you know, I do a 1, 2, 3 legger. So we lost a leg 1 on a prior day. So this was leg 2 for 2 units. Now, the reason I do like money line sometimes, and again, in this case it happened to work. With the Lions, we would have been better off going with the cover. But anyway, is because as a leg 2, we're not just profiting 1.75 because we're betting more units. So 2 units, say your unit amount is $10, right? You would win $17.50. But then if you're doing 20 to win $35, then you're looking at, it is 3.5 by the way. I don't know how I got that wrong. So you're looking at a 3.5 unit profit on the day. because we're not counting. We already counted the -1 from that we missed the other day. So that's one reason I love this system with 3 cracks at it. At the very least, we're going to get +1 unit on on a leg 1, 2, 3. We just want to get one of the 3. If we miss leg 1, we do to leg 2 for 2 units, leg 3 for 4 units. I'm going over the rudimentary parts because I'm going to be putting this on YouTube for people that a lot of people in the live chat were asking about my leg 1, leg 2, leg 3s about the Patreon. I never love to plug it, but I just like to bring it up if people ask, and especially since we're doing so well. I always like to wait until I know. In my opinion, people will definitely be profiting, and from so far, that is definitely the case. So anyway, 3.5 unit profit on the day for the Chiefs, which is nice. So technically, looking at again up about a half a unit. The Lions did not win for us, unfortunately, so that knocks us down to -1.5 units because half minus 1.5. We got the Lions over, putting us at +1.5. We got the Chiefs Ravens under, putting us at +5.5. We did miss our leg 3 with Niagara because of some overtime nonsense, but a loss it is. So 1.5. Marist puts us at 2.5, and Quinnipiac puts us at 3.5. Let me make sure I did that right. 2 -2. Chiefs Ravens puts us back to +2, +4, +2, +5.5. Okay, yeah, I think it's 2.5. -4 is 1.5 +2. Before I did this, I calculated up to 2.5. I'm pretty sure it's 2.5 units that we profited today. So, like I said, nothing crazy. It could be 3.5, but I think I just counted one extra. Yeah, so I'm almost positive we're 2.5 on the day, which is nothing crazy. But again, we took 2 leg 3 losses, and we're still able to finish in the profit. The money line helped, of course, and other things helped, but again, I love that under on the Chiefs. I should have made that a freaking leg 4, but of course I don't do that. So nothing crazy. 2.5 units, and just to cover yesterday or 2 days ago technically now, we weren't sure where we were up 2 units finishing out, but we had a leg 2 Pacific in play who came through, putting us up 4 units. And we had San Jose UNLV going under, which came through, putting us up 5 units. So we finished up 5 units 2 days ago, and another 2.5 here yesterday. So not bad. I'll definitely take it. We've been in the positive, way more than the negative, which is good. And again, to be profiting on the day is always nice. Now I wanted to go into a few things. I want to go into tomorrow's plays, and this is again we do this every day, so you guys are familiar with how it works. For anyone that's new or hasn't really seen how it works, we play a leg 1. If it misses, we run a leg 2. So last night the Clippers Celtics did not go over, so the Chiefs beat Ravens would be the leg 2 for that. The Pistons cover Wizards did not come through. For that, the leg 3 would be one of these, say the Hawks. Now after leg 3, we close it out. We don't continue chasing. So it's pretty intricate, but again, if you I have a free trial and everything. But if you watch even for a couple days, if you're very new to it, you'll see how the system works. It's basically a complex martingale. So we just want to close out the sequences, and we don't have many open sequences, which is good. We got a couple that are heading to a leg 3, a couple that are heading to a leg 2, but nothing insane. So yeah, that's how we've done so far. Now I want to go into tomorrow's picks and then just touch on what from the games today, the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people are champing at the bit is actually the term. It's not chomping. Fun fact. Champing at the bit, waiting for, what's going to happen between Mr. Irrelevant versus Mr. Mahomes. So anyway, tomorrow, not a lot of games. One of our lighter schedules. There's just not a lot of college games going on. So I do like Texas A&M commercial to beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And it's essentially because it just looks like a trap to me. For one, Texas A&M Corpus Christi is pretty good against the spread. And two, if you look at the team's records, I don't know. It just seems to me like it definitely could be a trap. I think way more people are going to be on Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Just because, again, they're great against the spread. They have a better record. So I think that's worth 2 units at plus 125. Virginia Tech, I like to cover Duke. I'm taking the cover, not the money line. And again, I'm going to bring up why it's important to be taken, for the most part, covers. I have some money lines. I still have to learn my lesson there. but I think it could be a close game. Looks kind of like a trap, so I like them for the cover for a unit. Rockets Lakers just looks like a complete trap, and I like, again, I've been noticing the Lakers, and someone brought this up on the live stream we just did, and also thank you guys for attending another great live stream. We really don't have bad ones. Even when, it's usually like one guy, but even when people come in and try and start some stuff up, you guys are so quick to just, ignore it and stay positive and keep it fun. And whether things are going our way, not going, it doesn't matter. We're there to have fun. We're profiting at the end of the day, and we're just learning together. So I always appreciate the live streams. You guys are great, and I appreciate it. I really do. Rockets cover Lakers just looks like a complete trap. Lakers can go to 24-24. Someone brought up in my live stream how it's interesting that it could be the Kobe number, and I noticed the Lakers have been doing this like since the in-season tournament. They're like 16 and 17, 17 and 17, 17 and 18, 18 and 18, 19 and 18, 19 and 9. They've been doing this for a while. I think they're going to stay really close to 500. That way, they can explain why they're going to need a trade at the deadline. Maybe they get somebody like Julius Randle, although he doesn't make too much sense. But you get my point. Make a trade for somebody. Maybe a couple role players. Maybe they get rid of D'Angelo Russell. They just seem like a team that's going to make a trade. So I like the Rockets cover here. Clippers, Cavs. Clippers suck on the over. Cavs aren't too good themselves, so it's a metric play. I like it for one unit. Hornets just looks like a trap. And again, maybe playing the spread's better here, but I like the 2.5, odds. I think people are going to be all over the Knicks. They've been really hot, so I like the Hornets. And then I got the Heat here, and the Heat do to me what the Hawks do to me. There's a few teams that, even though they're not that good, for some reason they'll be laying a lot of points against teams that are good, or they'll be getting a ton of points, and it just seems like it should be a trap in a lot of cases. To me, this looks like a trap. The big three are playing for the Suns. The Heat they're on a 5-game losing streak, yet they're 3.5-point favorites. So, this is my favorite play of the night. Is definitely what I can say. I like the Rockets cover the Lakers. Looks like a trap too. But this Heat cover Suns, I think we're going to see some crazy play out of Bam because Nurk's out, and I just think that they're going to have a lot of people on the Suns. So I like the Heat here. Now I want to go into a couple things as far as this. So the Super Bowl, again, we're going to go into all that. That's 2 weeks. The best I can say there, especially because I know a lot of people that, like I said, I kind of wanted to make this a recap as well. I literally have a Super Bowl 57 and a Super Bowl 58 playlist, and both, like, between them both, we're looking at, like, I don't know, 30 videos dedicated to the Niners, and you could check that out. That way you can kind of see where my mind has been at, and it's back to last year, so I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but this year, the Super Bowl 58 playlist, because it's two different playlists, one Super Bowl 57, one Super Bowl 58. The Super Bowl 58 one, like the first one on there, it's like something like why it's going to be Chiefs Niners. I think that one would really help as far as assessing, because again, it's easy to doubt our first impression, which I've done before, and definitely not fun. Niners are a team that really had a good feeling with. NFL ran a bunch of crazy, damage control, and went with the Lions in this game. But as far as the Super Bowl, again, all we can do is just, we had a good day and look to the Super Bowl. We can't. I don't look at one game, unless they're contingency games. But as far as affecting other games, I feel like if we've been over the target, which we've been so over the target this year, then there's a good chance a while back when the season was going on, when I first noticed it, we might have noticed something. So, yeah, the best I could say is you could probably binge. I'm not trying to plug you to watch the videos. It's just if you really want to know my opinion on the Niners, and basically I cover every reason the Niners would make sense and why Purdy is such a big story. So, again, I think it's like 17 videos in the Super Bowl 58 playlist. There might not be that many, but they've just been giving me alarm bells. So now that we officially do have Niners Chiefs, it's going to be a very interesting one. I'm going to wait for a spread, of course, and we'll go into that. But that playlist might help you, and if you might notice something and say, hey, I think you had this, but you're off here, or you might be overlooking this. So, it's not to be braggadocious, but when we were ahead of this so far, before anybody else, then there's not much I can repeat. We kind of covered all the bases. So for that, yeah, I would recommend if you want to check the playlist. And here's our picks for tomorrow. Like I said, this is what I do every single night for the Patreon. Whether we go live for 5 hours, this is always going to be a priority because I appreciate everybody that's has faith in the system. And again, speaking of the system, we've done very well. So this is from, and I didn't want like people to see his email or there's a phone number I think, and I just didn't want to make sure people can't see it. So I just showed the message part. But Chris, I appreciate everything you do. He's always, every single night if he can. Sometimes it's like 2 nights, but it's usually every night. He'll update me with exactly how we are, how we're doing, and I track him myself. But just in case I'm wrong or I'm off on something, he'll always bring to my attention how we're doing. As it stands, it looks like we're up 33.75 units. I think we're up a little more now. I think it's 35.75 because, or 30. It could be 36.25 because we got 2.5 today. But either way, up over 30 units, and just doing really well. I mean, we've really. The shame of it is, I ran hockey for the first couple weeks, and again, this is how like invaluable Chris is. Look, the 33 pages. Like every night, he gives me an update, and you can see we started it on December 5th, as you can see in the top left corner, and then you have the gross and the net, and he just goes down every single day. How many units we put out, how we did on leg 1, how we did on leg 2, how we did on leg 3, how we did total, and again, it's 33 pages long, but essentially where we stand is the bottom right corner here. I believe we're right around 35.75. As you can see, it covers every single week, and the craziest part is, and I went into this a bunch of times, had we not played hockey, and I know it's like, well, that you could say that with anything, but this is a pretty blatant example because it's not like it's a certain sport where we're doing okay then not so good. We've basically destroyed every sport, NBA, NFL. But as you can see from the left side of the screen here, we were in the negative for quite a while, like minus 20. We were down a percentage wise. I think we did like minus 45% in hockey. We did just terrible. We I think lost like 30 something units with hockey. And yeah, right now we're at I think it's 35 or 36 units about that we're up. And that's after, again, we kicked hockey to the curb. And again, I'm always reassessing. This is always about how we can make money. You can see it's been a while. But we were playing hockey a lot in the beginning. And boy, did they just hurt us. It was like just a few weeks. And I'm like, this is killing us, this hockey. Where are they at? You can see it's been a while since we've played them. But they were not coming through at all. So here we go. Oilers Wild. That was a leg 4. That was a 4-unit loss. So we lost 7 units just off this sequence from hockey. Missed the Leafs, missed the Devils. I mean, we did really, really bad with hockey. It's pretty insane, basically. I had never done so bad with the sport. And we kicked it to the curb pretty quick. Because, yeah, we were down like 30. Blues, we finally got a win there on that one. Missed the Flames. Just in general, again, just putrid with hockey. Missed the Coyotes here. And I think it's because with hockey, you can't really play even odds outside of over-unders. So what I had to do for a lot of cases was go for the money line, go for a team to cover a spread or go for an underdog to win a money line. I can't really play my metrics. So there's no excuses. It's actually a good thing because, like I said, we're up about 30-something units in starting. I think it's 36. And that's accounting for hockey. And another thing I wanted to go into because, again, Chris has been so invaluable. If you look, and I think it's in here, it shows how we did with money lines and how we would have done had we picked the spread. Now it's 33 pages long, this thing, so I just basically have a few of them uploaded, but it might not be on here. But essentially, on our money line plays, like overall, we're like, say, minus 15 units. And with the spread, had we just picked the spread instead of the money line, we'd be up like 15 units. So it's a big swing. So I'm going to be doing more spreads. Now I know I have some money lines tomorrow, so I haven't really completely learned my lesson. But again, I really thank you, Chris. What you do is invaluable. It helps me so much because I'm typing this stuff out every night. I'm typing out the unit amounts. I'm trying to keep track of exactly where we're at. And it seems like we're on the same number, right around 36 units net profited. But since starting this, and it's only been about 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks, so definitely good. And again, I think it just proves that the numbers bear true. But it helps me so much when I see the chart. I know I can't always get right back to you, and I try my best. But because I'm able to see, okay, yeah, this one's not working, and as we can see, for some reason, and it's not some reason, it's probably by design, the money lines, we're just losing money over time versus playing the spreads. So it's a boring system, I get it, but it works. I mean, I can't say that anybody that's followed this system for more than a couple weeks is down. Uh, we even, again, we started down pretty bad because of hockey and just went on a tear since. I think we're up about 40 units in the NFL. That might be a little wrong, but it's around 40 because we've done the best in the NFL. And again, the college basketball's been good. So again, it's not to brag. I just wanted to do a recap for the people that have been following. If you weren't sure, I know you might have a lot of people. They do picks from multiple people. So you might be doing picks from me, picks from other guys, and I just like to kind of. Usually, what I do is like every single night, I try and add up the tally, but I don't have a chart here. So Chris has like a nice little chart because he's not a Neanderthal like me, and he obviously knows how to use computer software. I'm terrible with charting things. It gets all. I have like all the sequences are out of order, and it just looks like a big clusterfuck. So that really helps me. That chart, I'm able to go through it every night, and it means a lot. Like I said, he doesn't have to do it. There's no reason. He's doing it because he wants to help, and he likes numbers. So that means a lot. And yeah, we had a good day today. I think we're going to continue to do good. It'd be nice by the Super Bowl to be up over 50 units. That would be really nice. 50 is a nice round number. And I think we could certainly do it. We got 2 weeks to go, and we're certainly on pace, especially, as the way we've been doing as of late. So, yeah, another decent day. Again, about 2.5 units. Tomorrow, not a lot in play, but we do have the 2-leg 3, so hopefully they'll come through. And yeah, it's just really discipline. There's so many people, and like today was a perfect example. There was hedge opportunity with the Lions game. There was so many things that you can guarantee a profit, and there's not, and even the hedging. Like I don't talk about the hedging on here, so like all of the profit on here is literal picks I put out ahead of time, and then we recap them every single night like this. Even if we do the live video, we're gonna recap them, but it's really just understanding that we can hit at a 33% clip, miss leg 1, miss leg 2, get leg 3, and profit. And I'm not saying it's always going to break that way, but it's been a good bit now. A lot of plays, as you guys can see. 33 pages worth of tabulations again, and I thank Chris so much for that. I know you can't do it forever. I know you told me, you'll do it as long as you could, and then if you ever get tired of it, just you're not obligated. So I do appreciate it, but it means a lot. But my point is, yeah, we've done really well. Last season we did over 100 units, and the reason I keep these receipts and the reason I I don't have my own chart, but I have them all charted and I have all the unit amounts that were up, is because anybody that's new might just say, yeah, right, up 30 units, and it's too good to be true, all these different things. So I keep results, if we have a minus 15 unit day, I'm the first one to come out and say we had a horrible day. We did minus 15. And again, all you guys watching on here, I know you know that. Again, there's a lot of people that were just curious about the system, so I figured kill two birds with one stone. We'll put this on YouTube and people can kind of get a preview. But yeah, looking really good. Not a surprise as far as the system, just because I've seen it work for years. Even before I did it myself, a guy did it with baseball. I don't pick baseball too well, but he did phenomenal. And he was posting on a forum, just basically, he thought it was real, but he was just basically posting his Martingale system, and I just elaborated on it a lot and incorporate the fact that it's scripted. And like I said, especially after we'll see how the Hornets and even if they do work out, as we can see, the money lines have not been nearly as good as the spreads. Now, there are certain games that really comes through. The Chiefs came through nice. In that case, we had the Chiefs-Lions, and again, my logic is if we split those games, it's a nice little profit. So, again, profit is profit. And yeah, that under just seems so darn obvious. So, we had a good day, and I think we have a good read. And I'm really excited about the Super Bowl just because, again, it's a team that I've done. There's no team that I've dedicated like videos to. There's a couple, but typically I'll do a division or I'll do just future picks. I did like 2 videos on the Lions, maybe 3 at the beginning of the year about why they were going to go way further than anybody thought. I think I did a video on why the Vikings were going to finish last in the division. I didn't do a ton of videos like for teams. We've done like 30 something videos on the 49ers. I feel like it's destiny at this point. So now we just got to pick the game right. And again, it's probably not going to be a crazy play. I know a lot of people get to the Super Bowl and they're like, oh, I want to do 15 units on it or whatever. But I look at it this way. If we know over time, and I think it's pretty much proven at this point, I don't know how much more, I'd be able to prove that this system works. And yes, a lot of it's boring college teams like Marista Canisius and Quinnipiac and Fairfield, and whoever, Pacific. But at the mid 10, fading Cal St. Norge has paid us so crazy. Again, just for anyone that's new, it's just funny because you might not even know who Cal St. Norge is, but it's just college seems to have some of the best metrics possible where you have teams that are defying history. They're 85% against the spread. It's not going to hold up. And then we fade them and we wind up hitting it. So if you remember in the NBA, the same deal happened. The Pacers were like 80% against the spread. We started picking under after under, and now they're at like 50 something percent. I don't know how it works. It's like a coin. It's like flipping a coin 10,000 times. It's like teams are not allowed to finish, 80% against the spread or on the over, and it's pretty remarkable. If you look at the NBA, every team right now is within historical norms. So it's something that I think we've stumbled on that I've yet to see any other like handicapper talk about. Now I think a lot of the handicappers purposely don't talk about it because again I think they give bad information like stockbrokers. But most people will say this team's great against the spread. Let's take this team. This logic here and the reason we're up over 30 something units has been the opposite. It's been not only having the discipline to understand we have leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, don't chase, but just fading teams that are great against the spread and taking teams that are awful. So that's the system in a nutshell. I know a lot of people asked this time around, so I wanted to do my best to go into it. And then I wanted to, because Chris's chart is obviously way more impressive than what I got here. Like I said, though, there's a lot of typing out to do when I'm going into all these picks, but it really helps condense things when I can just open up the document and Chris has everything, and it really means a lot. So I know it seems like I'm like gaslighting the guy or something, but I'm really not. I'm just giving him his fair due. The guy, it's not like I pay him. I really should. I told him his membership could be free, whatever he wants, because it really means a lot that he would do that. And it's not just him. Everybody has been helpful in one way or another. Like the vibes have been so positive, and that's why it feels good to be able to come through for you guys. Hopefully it continues. We're up like 8 to 10 units. It's like, all right, well, that could swing in one day, but we're moving forward and forward. 4 straight profitable weeks. Our weeks where we don't profit are really like not too bad. They're like -2, -3, and based off of last season, it just continued to grow. I compare the system to crypto. It's like if you follow it for long enough, you're almost guaranteed to profit. So I know this seems like a shameless plug, but I also wanted to recap for the people that have been following, 6 weeks now. I really wanted to get out like every week, like an exact recap, of where we're at. It's just with all the sports going on, sometimes it's enough just to get out the picks and the unit amount and then the recap. And then I have to kind of consolidate the entire week and do a recap of that. So there'll be way more often. I promise you guys that, whether it's every week I have like a chart or something. But yeah, in case you didn't know, since we started, we're up about 35 units, all documented, which is good. And I think that will continue to grow. Again, a good day today. Nothing crazy. We'll take the 2.5 units though. And I think we're going to, just do good going forward. Like I said, I'd like to be up 50 units going into the Super Bowl or by the end of the Super Bowl, because then we have NBA playoffs emerging after that. And last year we did really good with the NBA playoffs, so I think we'll do good again. And yeah, the Super Bowl game itself won't be anything crazy, but depending on the spread, we might be able to get a really good a really good read. Like I said, I feel like I have a good read already. If you watch my playlist, it's almost like I saw the game beforehand. But maybe you never know. Maybe I had it wrong, but we'll have to see. I don't think so. I think they always say go with your first instinct and things of that nature. And to me, that never seems more true than now. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of cover a few different things because in the live video we were talking about the games, of course, and talking about a couple different things. And I wanted to do a recap. Like I said, Niners, Chiefs, definitely a story only the NFL can draw up. We're going to have Mr. Irrelevant versus the greatest quarterback in the league. We have Mahomes versus the world. And this is all stuff that was in the playlist months ago. So, like, I don't want to keep repeating things, but in case you didn't see it, that's what we went into as far as the selling points for the Niners. And more importantly than that, there's Debo. You look at Debo, and, Lamar, he didn't get his. Some guys don't get it. Some guys, I feel like Debo, Fred Warner, they've paid a lot of dues. So, it's a good story on both ends. You got Mahomes versus the world, where it'd be really huge. Wouldn't it be swell if Mahomes just won again? He's just so great. Or it's going to be Mr. Irrelevant, who nobody believes in. First things first gave this away all year long. You had Broussard talking about you're disrespecting Purdy. Everyone in the comments, oh, you're disrespecting Purdy. Mahomes never a doubt with the Chiefs, and we just happen to have the guy that Mahomes is the hardest on versus the guy that he is the most bullish on. So I wonder if they know stuff. I'll probably do a few videos going into that aspect. But there was just so much pointing at it. And in my opinion now, this really is Mahomes versus the world. This is the toughest team that he's faced in the playoffs, in my opinion. Tougher than I think they're a better team than Baltimore. I think if we're being serious in a real league, we have to pretend it's real for a second. The Niners would roll the Ravens, and I think most people would agree with that just because of the amount of sheer force that they have. So, that's why they were such a big favorite today. So, as far as that game, like I said, most of it's covered in my playlist, but I always reassess things, so we'll cover some more. I'm sure I'll be adding a few more videos to the playlist. But yeah, like I said, there's, in my opinion, I think it's ironically the first one in the playlist. I don't know. It might not be, but I think it's the first one in the playlist where it's like why the Chiefs are gonna play the Niners or something like that. So I think we've had an amazing read, and it'll be nice to get the Super Bowl. But again, these games are just as important. Getting those Rockets cover, just as, if not more important than the Super Bowl itself. So hopefully people don't just go nuts on the Super Bowl because it's the Super Bowl. I know it's easy to do that. I almost did it with the Heat last year. But I really stuck to my system, and I profited despite not even getting the Heat to beat the Nuggets, because we got 2-1 on one of the games that they won. And it was as a leg two, so it paid like 4-1, and then we got another unit from a game they won, so we got 5 units, and then they lost 4, but they were all leg ones. Basically, we profited a unit despite losing the finals, and we did really well before that because we had the Heat beating the Celtics, all those different things. So again, I kind of wanted to cover as much as I could in this video because I explained with my stepfather just getting out of the hospital. I'm not sure how many videos I'll be able to get out in, like, say, the next week. The good thing is we don't have a lot going into the Super Bowl, but I just kind of wanted, we have a bye week, but I just kind of wanted to go into why I like these metrics so much, why I like the system, why it is stress-free for me to watch these games, because I know the metrics are going to bear out. So even if we miss a game, or one that we thought was going to happen doesn't happen, or even if we lose a leg 3 for 4 units, which in the NFL we did really good. We got our only leg 3 in the NFL. We missed them in the NBA and college, but even if we miss those, we know, okay, well, the numbers are bearing out. We're profiting, and even on bad days we're mitigating our losses. So yeah, I think we're doing about as good as I thought we would be doing. I thought we would be around 50 units by the Super Bowl, and I still stand by that. So hopefully we'll get there. We got about 15 more units to go to get there. So a good day tomorrow could do that, and I think we'll have a good day tomorrow. So I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. We got our recap in. Again, not a lot of picks tomorrow, but again, we got some leg threes, so hopefully they'll come through. And I'll be doing just more updates. A lot of them are going to be wrestling related. You'd be shocked at the amount of wrestling tie-ins with the Tribal Chief and the Super Bowl with Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. You know, there's a lot going on with both those teams, both those guys, that is very interesting. Another reason that, you know, it was in my mind all year. So great job today, guys. You know, we did really good in the NFL. We didn't do so good in basketball, but luckily the NFL was enough to bail us out and give us a positive day. And tomorrow we're going to need basketball because it's all we got. So hopefully tomorrow we get the basketball hits. I am waiting on Detroit Mercy because they're 0-22. And now with the Lions being outed, I have a good feeling Detroit Mercy might get their first win. So they don't play tomorrow. I think they play the day after tomorrow. So I'll be waiting on that one. But yeah, once again, I want to thank everybody who attended the live, everybody who supports me on here. You know, especially if I'm able to. Nothing's worse than if you guys support me and it's like, oh yeah, we're down 8 units or we're up 2 units since inception. But I'm happy that we're up so much. Again, the reason I put it out in advance is because either the system that I believe in is not gonna come through, and people are just gonna leave. It's not working for me, which is completely understandable and something I would do if something wasn't working for me. Or it's gonna work out and people are gonna make so many units that the subscription is like 1 unit out of the 30 that they've made. So I wanted to wait until, and I did this, if you watch my other playlist, the NBA Rig, or I think it's just the Rig playlist on YouTube, before I started exclusively doing them on here, I wanted to make sure that anybody that tailed was up a lot before I even thought about doing the subscription for it. And to me, it just makes sense. I'm not going to do it and then blindly pick, and then people are down 25 units and they're freaking helping me out. That just isn't right. So it's always good to come through, and I'm hoping we continue to. And the best part is, again, this was with hockey just completely crippling us from the beginning. We completely ditched hockey, and we've been doing swell ever since. So I appreciate all you guys. I know this was a longer video. Like I said, I kind of wanted to go into the system for those that asked. I wanted to just give my initial thoughts on Chiefs Niners. Again, it's not too initial because we have like 20 videos we have more than that dedicated to the Niners. So I basically thought of every possible angle with those two teams. So I'm pretty confident going into the Super Bowl. But again, that's 2 weeks away, and I'm hoping we can really get a good build-up before then, and then, of course, after then. And we'll be getting, even just on YouTube, even if you don't subscribe on here, it's fine. Now that we have time, I'll be able to get more NBA plays out every day. I know for a while we were doing NBA, and then I kind of stopped because I'm doing them on here with everything else, and then also with the playoffs, there's just so many things to address, and you had all these other things going on. And then I had personal things going on too, not to make excuses, but I do like to get out NBA if I can because we've done really well with the NBA this year. If you look at my NBA playoff rankings video, very similar vibes to the NFL, where I have like most of them right, but the couple I have wrong are laughably wrong. Like, remember I had the Raiders making a run in the AFC? Well, I had the Pistons making a run in the East. But then by the same token, 9 of the other teams that we had in the playoffs are getting in. So it's like a weird thing where it seems like we're really over the target, except the couple where we're not, we're laughably wrong, which is fine. At the end of the day, it's numbers, and I try for me, it's all about profit. So the Pistons is obviously an L take, but just one that I thought, it seems like the Rockets are the Pistons. Like, they're giving the Rockets the treatment that the Pistons were that I thought they were going to get. I know they're in different conferences, but they give me those same vibes. Or you could say the Magic. But yeah, I'd say over the target so far for the NBA for the most part. And especially with Doc to the Bucks, we have a lot of interesting things coming up. So it's going to be very, very telling in my opinion. So yeah, today what I can say is people are definitely going to be, again, no matter what happened, people were going to be more open, and fans were going to be more suspect of it being scripted. And again, you go on Twitter, it's absolutely insane the amount of people saying it. People in my live chat that were knew it was like their first time watching my video. They were like, "This is absolutely insane." And even when I went over to my, because as I explained, I've been back and forth between here and my parents trying to make sure my stepdad's good. And the first thing my mother said to me, after just, your traditional, hey, love you, all that stuff, was she said I had to turn the game off. And I said, why? And she said, because I don't understand why that coach went for it on 4th and 2 there. And I had brought it up in my live video. So even people that aren't actively looking for these things, my mother, she believes in a lot of the scripted nature. But at the end of the day, she's not watching it like we are. And for her to just be like, yeah, that looked really obvious. The second that happened, I had a feeling the Lions were going to lose. We all kind of noticed it. Like, there were people in the chat like, yeah, I'm happy you brought that up because it didn't seem like much, but it was weird. Why didn't they kick it? Why didn't they kick, And you could say, oh, it's Dan Campbell. But it really doesn't make sense. So it really helps with the live action, in my opinion. Just seeing when they're selling games. We saw it with the Chiefs and Ravens. We saw it earlier when the Niners sold the first half, which gave people great hedge potential. So that was always nice. But it's just jumping out more and more. This is going to be by far the most ridiculous Super Bowl. I mean, I'm expecting, again, like half of Twitter at the very least to be just up in arms. And again, that's why I don't have an emotional stake. The only stake I have is a financial one, and we're doing well there. So they're going to do ridiculous shenanigans. We know that. So we have to pick, like as I always do, based off those shenanigans. So I notice a lot of people, even though it's Dan Campbell, were suspect of that. You go up 17 points or you give them good field position. Just really weird. So a lot of people noticed that. And of course, people noticed Lamar. I mean, that was just absolutely ridiculous. I didn't even expect that to happen. Of course, we had the Chiefs, but I did not expect Lamar just to get beat down that bad. So, I guess it's another ritual they wanted to do, whatever the case may be. In both games, they had the legends come out and they lost, so that's always interesting. So again, sometimes I give the NFL too much credit, and that's why I feel like not this time. I feel like this Super Bowl is going to be pretty darn obvious, especially once they start talking about Mahomes and Purdy. I'm curious what they say, but I'm pretty sure just based off the first couple narratives they try and spin, we're going to have this one nailed. Maybe down to the final score. That'd be a good end to the season and a fitting one with how we've done. So I'll go into that. And again, I appreciate everybody. I know it's not a ton of plays tomorrow, but again, I'm not going to play games just to play them. This is picks that I personally make that I wouldn't suggest, for, just to play. So for anyone that, again, is new, it's your first time seeing the system, every single pick in here is ones that I personally sift through and find the best metrics. So I know a lot of people like the fun games. I know we got other teams playing tomorrow. I think we got like the Sixers and Nuggets or something, or it's Bucks and Nuggets or one of those. And it's just some of them, in my opinion, they're stay away games. It's about winning money. If you want my opinion, I'll always give it to you, but just games I'm staying away from. I like the traps here, the Rockets and the Heat. So thank you all. I appreciate you bearing with me for the live. It was a long one, but again, we were able to go into a lot. We had another fun time. And I know this video here is longer, but I wanted to cover a lot of different things. I wanted to go into the system. I want to officially thank Chris and give him the credit he deserves because, the fact that he graphs everything, I'm going to start, I could probably share it in my Discord, which would be cool because then anybody that's in the Discord can just click on it and just go through all the numbers, and see everything. Like I said, it's like 33 pages and it literally just goes through every play, every leg 1, every leg 2, every leg 3, every money line, which is paying better. He's really good, and I love numbers, so I'm very impressed by his number analytics. So thank you all, and as I always say, take care and happy earnings.